What's up, Bulls Nation? Welcome to another episode of Bulls on Tap, presented by On Tap Sports. I'm your host, Derek, and back off of undisclosed famous people stuff, Melissa's joining us. How's it going, Missy?
What's up, y'all? Glad to be back off this win. Let's go.
And joining us from the Bloody Horns podcast, I got Justin. Justin, what's up, man?
What's up, guys? Vibes are high after that win last night.
Right? I mean, even if you're on the Cooper Flag tank for him ship, you can't beat a win over the Knicks.
Right. Anytime you can beat the Knicks in the Garden, perfect.
Right. But, before we get into all of what happened last night and, the Bulls, want to know about you, Justin. Want to know your Bulls fan origin story.
I've been a fan since I was 6 years old. I don't really remember how it happened because growing up, my stepdad and my mom weren't into sports at all. But for some reason, the '97 finals, they were tapped into it. And the first game I remember watching was that flu game. And ever since then, I was hooked on Michael Jordan, hooked on the Bulls, followed the whole '98 season as close as I could as a 7-year-old, and stuck through all the dark times, the Jalen Rose years, the Eddie Robinson years, and just been. I'm too loyal for my own good. I don't know how to walk away from a toxic relationship like the one I got with the Bulls.
Hey, I think we're all a little bit too loyal for our own good. That's what makes Bulls Nation.
Yeah, we're stubborn. We like punishment as Bulls fans, I guess.
Sadly, it's also relatable. We're really there through thick and thin, man. Like my whole mood depends on how the Bulls play, win or lose. But it's just like the effort they put in for the day that really will like make or break my day. So, like I was talking to you about jokingly. Can we talk about like how to lose these love handles if you're a stress eating sports Bulls fan? But
oh man,
yeah,
stress eating during Bulls games is real. Like last night at halftime, I made a deal with my wife. I was like, I will rub your feet for 15 minutes if you go get me some candy from the store for the second half. Like I could tell it was going to be one of those games.
Yeah, that third quarter going into the fourth, I was about to break things in the house, and my son like ran off crying because he thought I was mad at him. I'm like, no, it's not you. It's the Bulls right now.
It happens all the time with my dog. I'll like yell at the TV, and he thinks I'm yelling at him, and I'm like, no, it's not. It's not you. It's the damn Bulls, dude.
Right, exactly. Shout out to Daniel Berry Sports Highlights in the comments. Happy Thursday to you as well. So yeah, you became a diehard at 7 watching the '97 finals, and you stuck with the team through everything.
Everything.
What made you start the Bloody Horns podcast?
I'd got hurt in the gym, and I'd had a surgery, and I was like, I'm gonna have a bunch of free time to kill. And I'd already been following the Bulls on League Pass for years. And I was like, let me just take all my Bulls thoughts and put them out there and see if I can make a podcast out of it and, do something constructive with all the time I was spending on the Bulls, all the downtime that I was about to have. So that's kind of where that came from, is just having way too much free time on my hands for the first time in a while.
Have you had any experience with podcasting before, or did you just learn everything on the fly? What was your process?
No, I had no experience. I just started recording and just started talking. And the only like semi-close experience I'd had is in my career as a personal trainer. I'd done these, we used to call them Tough Talk Tuesdays. They were like 10-minute motivational videos speaking in front of a camera, all one take, one shot. So that was like the closest I'd had to any kind of podcasting experience. So it kind of came in handy being able to just talk off the cuff and kind of go on the fly with stuff. But I hadn't had any experience in how to like start a podcast or build a podcast. I just grabbed a mic and went for it.
to kind of follow what you were just telling us about, if you had Pat Williams in front of you right now and you had to give him a quick little pep talk, would you be able to give us a preview of what that would sound like?
I mean, my thing with Pat is I don't think Pat necessarily needs the most motivation, because you see him like last night. He came out and he was ready to go. Like those first 4 or 5 minutes, he had 11 points. But I can't imagine what it's like to be, how old's Pat? He's like 23 years old. So you're a young athlete. You're being told all the time you got to play with aggression, you got to play with confidence. And then you go out, you do just that, and your coach takes you out for 10 minutes.
Yep.
And it's like, all right, sit your ass on the bench now. And you're like, what I do, bro? I got 11 points. I'm playing defense. I'm hitting threes. I'm dunking the ball. Like, I don't know if Pat needs a motivational talk as much as Billy Donovan needs like a you got to believe in this dude kind of talk, you know?
Yeah, that was something. He came out strong, a strong 11 points, and like you said, then he got pulled. He ended, I think, the game with 18.
Yep.
And then that joke about, did you see what Billy was saying, that he was joking that he was going to call a timeout to celebrate what happened after that dunk?
Like, does Billy hate Patrick Williams, or what? That just seems like a super out of pocket thing to say about your player, who we all know is struggling with confidence, struggling with aggression, and then he shows it and you're like joking about it. I don't know. I'm not a Billy Donovan guy. I can't stand Billy Donovan. I'm gonna have a couple celebratory drinks the day that he's no longer the Bulls coach anymore.
You're on the right podcast.
I will be definitely joining you in those celebratory drinks when Billy and his gum are no longer in the UC locker room.
Bro, when they were on, I think they were at a 13-0 run, and the camera panned to Billy Donovan, and he wasn't yelling or nothing. He was just sitting back chewing gum. I was like, what are we doing, bro?
That would get me so frustrated. Like, the Bulls are like falling apart, and you would see him like emotionless, just like chomping on. We haven't talked about this in a while, but yeah, just emotionless, chomping on gum. Like, there's so many of our episodes, like 2 seasons ago, we're talking about that. But yeah, that is the worst thing ever. Like, if you can't get energy from your coach and you look to the bench, you get really nothing. Like, except for your players, your bench players are up hyping you and coaching through that. Like, we were joking last season, it was Alex. Like, Alex was coaching on the sidelines. You look over and you see Billy just chilling or doing one of these. Yeah.
I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Like, they had their 17-0 run. If I'm not mistaken, he called 2 timeouts during that span. And each timeout, he came out with the same lineup that he went into the timeout with. Like Dalen Terry and Matas Buzelis were in for that whole 17-0 run. I'm not the biggest on Matas, but I hope he turns out to be good. But still, that moment was too big for the kid, and you just kept throwing him out there, and then we watched the whole lead evaporate. I didn't get it at all.
Yeah, that's when I lost it last night, because I'm like, why is Kobe White the only offensive threat on the floor right now when they're on a 17-0 run, and you just keep coming out with the same lineup? I was like, is this the tank lineup? Is he purposely trying to lose this game?
It might be, especially a night Kobe White was struggling too. Like, Kobe didn't even have it last night.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to how he came in the clutch, but
yeah,
up to that point, he was struggling.
Yeah, Kobe usually has like slow starts, but he definitely wasn't in the game that game. But he hit it when he needed to. That was the clutchest moment ever, and maybe it might not have been that foul might not have been quite a foul.
He acted when he needed to. He put on an Academy Award-winning performance.
Absolutely.
Hey, you gotta sell it sometimes. Yeah. So the ref called it. He touched him though.
The hair helps. The hair helps sell it too.
I think Kobe's hair gets him like 3 extra fouls a game, because he'll be dribbling and he'll get bumped and he'll just jerk his head back, and it looks like he got clocked, but he didn't really get clocked.
Yep.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. We got Sammy in here. He says, Coach JT in the building. Booker Chu, Lonzo back this weekend. He's already been ruled out for tomorrow, so maybe Sunday.
Man, I can't wait till he's back. It's kind of crazy how much better the team is with him.
Yeah. I agree with you on that because I'm still not sold on Giddey.
He's been all right. He hasn't been great. He hasn't been bad. He's been all right.
It's been mid.
Yep. It's been. How did I describe it to the Chicago Bulls Central Pod? I think I said he's a perfectly decent player. Nothing more, nothing less. Just perfectly decent.
Yeah, that sums it up pretty good.
Yeah, that's an accurate assessment for sure.
Booker Chu says we need to stop blowing leads. Well, that's on Billy Donovan's coaching for the most part.
Our starting lineup is it's always, we're not really great on offense to begin with. The starting lineup is always negative. And I think to your point, somebody brought up Giddey. I think not to put all the blame on him, but he's not really an offensive. He's not really giving us too much on offense either. So you see when Io enters the game, we get some points off of him. But other than that, yeah, it's always some slow starts.
That's like a constant theme throughout Billy Donovan's tenure, though, is every game it seems like we're getting down 10, 15 in the first quarter. And that's one of my biggest Billy complaints is he's not really a leader of men. Like how many games over the years, is it a big game? Is it the Bulls' first chance to get to 500 or above 500, or it's a play-in game against the Heat and you'd expect them to come out with intensity and they just come out flat. And that's when it's 4 years of this, you can't, and the players have changed a little bit. You can't keep blaming the players. That's coaching. Are you getting these dudes ready? Are you motivating them? Are you leading them? And Billy's he's not that dude.
No, he's not. French Bulls TV, what's going on, man? He says, hi, guys. And said the same thing happened in the Cleveland game the other day. It was a 9-point lead, and THT comes in. Give away 2 and-1s in 59 seconds. Which contradicts Booker Chu saying we need to play THT. And
I don't know about all that.
Are you on the tank side? Because then, yeah, you will play THT if we're trying to keep our draft pick. Paul says the last 2-minute report said it really was a foul on Kobe. Yeah, I mean, Josh Hart had his hand on his back. Kobe did sell it so he could get that call. So,
Yeah, that's, I never, I had that post that kind of went a little viral. People were thinking I was calling out Kobe. I was never saying he wasn't fouled. He was fouled. I was just saying if Kobe White wasn't on the Bulls and I saw, if Jalen Brunson on that last shot, if he had flailed and got a call, we all would have been heated if he'd have done what Kobe did. That's all I was saying is if we're gonna call out foul baiters or foul merchants, we can call out when our own dudes do it,
I mean, 2 things can be true.
Yeah.
Morris says if Giddey gets Cat in front of him every game, he'll cook. I mean, Cat was cooking.
Yeah, third
Cat,
he went crazy.
Cat was unreal in that game. He did whatever he wanted. He shot threes. He took it to the rim. It was how many uncontested layups or dunks did he get in that game? It was crazy.
Yeah, he was super exploiting our defense like nuts. Even with switches, it was bad news. But it's Cat. Some people are just inevitable.
And when Nikola Vucevic is guarding you, a dunk is usually inevitable.
Especially when he was playing with 5 fouls in the fourth. Yeah. He was looking at the other guys like, I have 5 fouls. Y'all do something. Sabity says Billy will eventually be a consultant like Paxton.
Oof, I don't know if I want that either.
I mean, we know that Rizzendorf doesn't like firing, so.
Do we know how many more years we have of Billy? Has it been released how long that extension was?
I honestly don't know. I don't know if they ever said the amount of years. It was just he has an extension. And we're like, wait, when did this happen? And why?
Why? He had 1 winning season and they were like, all right, cool. Here's an extension.
If how they were talking about in the beginning of the season, like the betting odds for the highest likely coach to get fired was Billy. I kind of feel like that's tipping in the other direction just because Zach and Booch have been cooking, even though our aim is to get them off the team and traded. Can you see? I kind of see Billy ending up sticking around. But
we know how it's going to go. We're going to be like a 8 or 9 seed come trade deadline. We're not going to trade anybody. Like we've seen this story before. We might even be like a 10 or 11 seed, and we still won't trade anybody. We've seen how this plays out. We know how these guys roll.
Yes, somebody says 1 or 2 years left for Billy, and Moore says Billy is replacing AK. Let's be real.
I could see that.
Yeah, I would hope that that's not the case because I think that would be worse off than what AK has done or not done. Local Bulls fans, is there a realistic team you can see trading for Vooch?
No. Short answer, no. Like Vooch is playing good. Don't get me wrong. I've been a Vooch hater for years. He's playing really good this year, but he's still horrible on defense. And there's no playoff contending team that wants a center that's a traffic cone on defense. Let's just look at the 2 finals teams last year. The Mavericks, their 2 centers were defense oriented. The Celtics, they got Horford and Porzingis. They're defensive oriented. If you got Vooch on your team as your starting center, you're just not a very good team. And Vooch is playing good this year, but the Chicago Bulls are not a very good team. I don't see the trade market for him. But I could be wrong. What do you guys think?
I don't know. I think is it the Clippers where they lost like all of their centers?
I think it's the Thunder.
The Thunder. They might, get Vooch. I mean, he's only one more year after this season on his contract.
Cool off trade with the Thunder, man. I'm cool off that.
Yeah, I've seen people say that no, don't trade with the Thunder ever again.
Is Billy Donovan the third? Is he still coaching the Windy City Bulls?
His son?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
We'll fire Billy Donovan to hire Donovan the third.
Oof.
We just do a
That'd be rough.
BD3. French Bull says no way the Thunder give us a pick for Vooch when they can give us one for AC.
That's what I'm saying.
True. That's true.
I think the Warriors, they need a center, right?
Do they? I mean, they're playing pretty good right now.
Yeah, they are pretty good. They've been good defensively, so you can look at that as they have defenders that could cover up some of Vooch's deficiencies, or they just are like, nah, he's too much of a liability on the defensive end.
I kind of thought the Pelicans might be an option for him, but then Zion went out, and I think Murray's out for a couple weeks too. So Zion's gonna miss the rest of the year. We just know how that guy rolls with his injuries. So I don't think they would trade for Vooch either. It's hard to see a team that would get better by adding Vooch.
Yeah, like the whole Pelicans team is kind of injured. I think they might be on the tank for flag route.
Zach LaVine, though, I think we could see a Zach LaVine trade if AK really wants to move
him. Somebody says, write it now. Bulls legend Voochie, man. But going to your thoughts on Zach, you say AK could trade him if he wanted to. Who could you see realistically trading for Zach?
I mean, it's got Lakers written all over it. We've been saying that for a couple of years now, and they started out good, and now they're at that point where they're trying to blame D'Lo for everything, like they do every year. So maybe we could see a trade there. D'Lo, Rui, couple draft picks, obviously I think we would probably just waive D'Lo. I don't think he'd actually play as a Bull because he's an expiring contract, but you get a player in Rui back that maybe you can play him at the 4 and Pat slides to the 3 and maybe a draft pick back, and maybe that's what it is. I saw that Orlando Magic rumor yesterday. I don't know if it's a rumor or just like a trade idea from Bleacher Report, but maybe they could do it too. There's teams with the way Zach LaVine's playing that could maybe talk themselves into that contract now.
Yeah, I think that was just like a trade thrown out by Bleacher Report. But like last night, we saw Zach facilitating and looking like Minnesota Timberwolves. Zach.
He looked great. He was I have his stats up. It was like 70%, 12 of 17, 70% field goal percentage, and 3 of 8 on his 3-point attempts. So yeah, he was doing quite a job. There's 6 defensive rebounds, 7 total boards, and 36 minutes.
Zach's playing great. It's just the same problems with him. You know, that heat check shot he took with like 90 seconds left, that's like only Zach LaVine's taking that shot. The should have been turnover that the refs bailed out that call on. What was that, with like 45 seconds left? That's only a play Zach LaVine's going to make. His situational awareness it's astounding how bad it is for how talented he is.
We never knew him to be the best with his basketball IQ or decision making, especially late game decision making. I think didn't the L2M report come out for that too, with that Zach call, or not? Did I miss something?
It did. I don't recall if
was it a foul.
I
thought I saw something on that earlier.
I know KC tweeted out. He says the last in the report confirms this should have been whistled as a foul on Towns, and thus no turnover.
Mm-hmm. But
he still had 6.
Yeah.
I saw Justin. I saw your tweet earlier where you said your wife was like, LaVine and Cat were on the same team. That must have been a pretty good team.
It was so funny because we live in Minnesota, and so I think Adam Amin, he kept saying that last night. He was like, former Timberwolves teammates, and she's like, wait, when did they play together? And I was like, 8, 9 years ago. She's like, that must have been a really good team, right? No. Trust me, there were, living in Minnesota when the Jimmy Butler trade happened, there were no Wolves fans in my life that were like, man, we really should have kept Zach LaVine. They were all like, we got Jimmy Butler.
To be fair, I don't think it was any Bulls fans that were like, oh, yay, we got Zach LaVine for Jimmy Butler.
Yeah. Bulls fans are not happy about that one.
No.
Not happy losing.
No, but that Timberwolf team is funny because people talk about that team all the time. At least around here, you'll occasionally see people be like, we could have had Karl Anthony Towns and Zach LaVine and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you guys had that, and it wasn't any good. They won like 10 games that year. With Tibbs as the coach. Like, if Tibbs is your coach and you're only winning 10 games, you know that's a bad roster.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Oh, no, Tibbs last night. I mean, you saw the guys are down. We were up 21, and they go on a 17-0 run. It's like Tibbs, man. Only a Tibbs team is going to just switch. Tibbs versus Billy Donovan in a coach off. That's kind of like Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. Like, it's just not fair.
Their minutes were crazy. Like, Bridges played 42 minutes. That's nuts. Cat played 39 minutes. Jalen Brunson 34 minutes to be expected. But yeah, their starters played a ton too. OG 35 minutes. Josh Hart 33 minutes. But yeah, Mikhail played 42 minutes.
Second half of a back-to-back too. Tibbs don't care, man.
He does not.
Oh, no, we touched on how Pat came out aggressive and with scoring 18, getting a couple dunks. But we saw him switched on to Brunson last night. How would y'all rank the defense that he had on Brunson? Was it just a case of good defense, better offense, or it was like they shouldn't have let that switch happen?
I kind of liked when Pat got switched because I think he's our best point of attack defender. But Brunson, he's so hard to guard, man. He's not like the quickest dude, but he's kind of strong. He's kind of built like a pit bull, and he's got that herky jerky game. He just needs like an inch of space to get his shot off. I thought Pat did about as good as he could, but the shots Brunson makes sometimes just like, what do you do? There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it. Exactly the same. It's Jalen Brunson. There was one possession where Pat just like wasn't really in the greatest position after that switch. This momentum, like he had to switch his body, and Jalen got that one over him. And the way that he shoots, you can only do so much. I think Pat did a decent job though. But Jalen Brunson, it's Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, it was definitely good defense, better offense. Even on that last shot that would have won them the game. I mean, he arced that so high and got it over Pat, and it almost went in.
Dude, that was like almost in. It rattled in and out. I had my chair in my hand, ready to throw it at the TV. Like, yo, oh my goodness.
I still don't understand how that rolled out. It doesn't make sense how that popped out because it was halfway in and then
exactly. We saw it like go in and pop right back out. I'm like, oh my god. But
that was the basketball guy saying, "All right, we owe y'all a few. Here's one."
Yeah.
Samity says, "I still hear Tibbs yelling ice." I'm surprised I didn't actually hear Tibbs yelling that last thing. Bulls for Life says, "Can we just take a moment to acknowledge the fact that despite their bonehead moves, Garpax actually drafted good pieces. And they just didn't have a good development staff in place to work with those guys."
I mean, kind of. Like Wendell Carter Jr. still sucks.
Yeah. And here we go. I love Garpax, but credit where credit's due. They did leave the team with some solid pieces like Laurie, Kobe, Gafford, and Wendell Carter Jr. Still fuck Wendell Carter Jr.
He's just not that good. Like, it is what it is. He's just not that good.
Yeah, I don't think anybody was mad at getting Vooch for Wendell. It's just that giving up draft picks to do that was kind of where people were like,
dude, I was hyped when the trade happened. I'm not even gonna lie. I got the ESPN notification and I was hyped. I was like, all right, let's go. We got an all-star center. We got a 20-10 guy. I didn't even think the draft picks were going to matter because I thought we were going to be a playoff team. And then we got Chicago Vooch, not Orlando Vooch.
It worked when Lonzo was still good. Like when we had Lonzo and AC in the very beginning, I think it actually could have worked. And, Vooch was like so used to being number one option. But yeah, he just kind of slowly fell off as he was trying to get used to like his new role for sure.
I mean, I've always felt like it could have been okay once we got Vooch and we got Lonzo and AC. DeMar, as much as I love him, I think that was kind of a redundant signing because Vooch and DeMar operate in the same area.
Yeah.
So that's why we see Vooch playing better now because he can just take up that space that DeMar used to occupy.
And Vooch would just get cold too, just standing there in that space, like you said, and it would just translate to defense too. He'd just be sitting there like ice, and then you go to not that he had great defense anyways, but he goes to the other side of the floor, and he's just kind of with the same energy, just hanging out. So yeah, you know how I feel about DeMar too. I love him to death. He had to do what he had to do because other people weren't able to do anything on offense. So he had to do what he had to do, but not really the most conducive for the rest of our players and what style of basketball they were trying to play, especially with Zoe being out. He obviously plays a much slower style of offense.
Definitely. Moore said the Jimmy trade walked so the AC trade could crawl. Sammy says, I still remember quote somewhere saying Zach and Lori were not running any pick and pops or pick and rolls. Like, bro, what is the development staff doing?
We've never had a good development staff. And in addition to our medical staff, like between those two teams of ours, our medical staff and our development team, like shout out Peter Patton finally for getting hired. But dude, like that's been a problem. Glaring issues for the longest time, sadly.
Shout out to Luau Deng for his Bulls medical horror story that he's been talking about now with the botched spinal tap and being misdiagnosed.
That's I was just listening to that podcast today when I was walking my dog, and it's so like it's just unbelievable to hear him talk about it. Because the team had the flu going around, so the doctors knew like, hey, guys are sick, but they were like, hey man, we should give you a spinal tap. Like what? That's like an extreme surgical procedure. And then do you guys remember he got the spinal tap and he was still listed as questionable for the playoff game? Yeah. That's nuts.
I'm like, okay, if he's questionable, like Luau Deng usually plays through anything where that says questionable. I was like, it has to be something more going on here.
Dude, he was so tough. So tough. And he's right. He said that he was never the same after that spinal tap. And if you look at his career, he really never was.
Yeah. Shout out to him because he still was able to get his money and he's doing a lot to give back to South Sudan and Africa and all those type of movements, getting more African players looked at. So, shout out Luau.
One of my favorite Bulls of all time. Like, they need to do a Luau Deng night at the United Center. I'm not saying we got to retire his jersey, but do something for him. He was so underrated.
Agree.
We got Derrick Rose night coming up, and the Ring of Honor next year, maybe that 2011 team, the players or the team could be honored in that.
Yeah, we need that. We all need to agree that if they don't retire Derrick Rose's jersey, that we're all going to riot. We're all going to get our pitchforks. We're going to get some cans of gasoline, and we're gonna just riot because you got to retire his jersey number.
You absolutely have to.
I mean, it's already unofficially retired. Like,
right?
Nobody can wear that number in Chicago because fans are going to come for their head.
There was that story that Michael Carter Williams tried to wear it, and then he got so many DMs and harassed online so much that he was like, "Fine, I'll wear a different jersey number."
I didn't hear about that one. That's crazy. But
yeah, it was when we signed him. I don't even know if it was an official picture. It might have just been a Photoshop of him in the number 1 jersey, and everybody lost it. Like, you cannot wear that number. It's like, all right, man, I won't wear it. Bulls for Life says, I got a code. Can we interest you in a spinal tap? That's probably not too far off from the actual dialect that went down.
I mean, we joke about it, but we see it every year. Every year there's an injury where they're like, oh, Alonzo, he has a torn meniscus. We'll reevaluate in 4 to 6 weeks. 4 to 6 weeks happen. They're like, we're going to give him another surgery. And we saw it with him. We saw it with Levine. Last year, Levine, he was telling them, it's my foot. They were like, I think it's your ankle. And he's like, I'm pretty sure it's my foot. They're like, nah, it's your ankle, man. And then when he went to a foot specialist and the foot specialist was like, yeah, you need surgery. Then the Bulls tried to spin it like Zach LaVine elected to have surgery. Tried to make him the bad guy. So we know that this organization, when it comes to medical stuff, they can't be trusted.
Right. I mean, they had Lonzo. We'll evaluate him in 10 days. 10 days come, they're kind of quiet about it. They're like, he's out to splint and he hasn't been cleared for dribbling yet. Then like the next day he's cleared to dribble, and they're like, he'll probably be back by the weekend. It's just like, is he good? Are we sure that he needs to be on the court right now?
I don't.
It's the front office too. We just never know. There's like we know that's something we've always struggled with, transparency from the front office. It's always just gray areas all over the place. And sadly, that's just what it is. I want better for us. We deserve better, like across the board. We can't even, I'm always complaining about this. We can't even get cup holders at the United Center, like at the very least. But yeah.
I knew that's where you were going.
Knew it, because come on. But that's not even as important. Like our medical staff, dude, is ridiculous. It's crazy. It's crazy. How many times people have been misdiagnosed, players have been misdiagnosed, and the timelines have been completely off. And we've been told something completely different too.
Yeah, I don't like the new Lonzo injury, the wrist thing. I've been an athletic trainer for 10 years. I've seen a lot of sprained wrists. I've never heard somebody say like, "Oh, it's a grade 1 sprain," but if he keeps playing on it, then it's going to develop into a grade 3 sprain. He's going to need surgery. He's going to be out for the year like that. That didn't really track for me. And then when they're saying, well, he's not even cleared for dribbling, and I'm like, a grade 1 sprain is pretty. It's like if you jam your wrist, basically. Like, yeah, you could be a little sore for a while, but you should be able to dribble a basketball within like 3 or 4 days. So it's a lot of the stuff with my background, a lot of the stuff that comes out with the Bulls. I'm always like, what are you not telling us here? Because it doesn't. 2 + 2 isn't equal 4 with your guys' story here. It never makes sense.
Speaking about your background as a personal trainer, is that what helps inspires your game day traditions for the Bulls play?
Yeah, it started like I want to say 2 maybe 3 years ago. My wife she was like, I can always tell when the Bulls are going to be on. And I was like, how? She's like, because you work out in the Bulls gear whenever they're going to be on. I'm like, it was like a subconscious thing that I didn't really realize I was doing. So it kind of, then I was like, well, I'll start posting that and start maybe it'll inspire other people to wear Bulls gear out and about and just kind of rep the team wherever they're at. I mean, I'm lucky enough I work in a gym, but if you work in an office, wear the Bulls hat, wear the Bulls hoodie, whatever you can wear, just rep the team. Because like, if you look at Bears fans on Sunday, whenever the Bears play, they're decked out in Bears gear. Should be the same for the Bulls. I know we play 82 games compared to 17, but you should still, if you're a Bulls fan, when they're playing, just rep the gear, show a little pride.
And if you're Derek, you have 82 outfits. You have 82 different, completely different fits to wear.
Man, your hat closet got to be just gigantic.
It's like I'll constantly rearranging them because they keep falling. Like, but your game day workouts. Is it any specific workout that you do for game days, or just?
Nah, it's just whatever I happen to be doing that day. And then if I can, because with my job, like as much as I hate being the guy who records himself working out, the fact is in the fitness world right now, that's how marketing is done. Every new client I get is through Instagram, is through TikTok. So I got to record myself doing it to kind of market my business. So I'll take like a still shot of whatever the lift is that might show whatever player's jersey I'm wearing, might show their last name or whatever.
Right. I'm definitely seeing like you get replies of people posting their Bulls gear too. So
yeah. Try to make it like a community.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. The Bulls community. Like next up for the Bulls, we got the undefeated Cavs again. Got another shot at them in the NBA Cup game. What do y'all feel about the Cup?
It's stupid. We can all agree it's stupid, right? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? If the winner of the Cup was guaranteed like a playoff spot or guarantee them like the 10th overall pick, I don't know, incentivize it some way, then it'd be kind of cool. But I believe they get $500,000. Like the Lakers won it last year. Do you think $500,000 does anything for LeBron James or Anthony Davis or even Rui Hachimura makes like $18 million a year? $500,000 is a drop in the bucket for these guys. It's just I don't get it.
They got to raise that flag though.
I think that's a more. I think that's more of an incentive for like the 14th, 15th man on the team. not really much for the superstars, but like Melissa said, they're in the Staples Center raising the banner.
Have some decorum.
Is the game tomorrow in Chicago?
It's in Cleveland.
Cleveland.
So we probably won't have that hideous bright red court that we saw last year in Chicago.
No, I know they did change the court design a little bit. It's like a deeper red and
they toned down that
borders.
brightness. Yeah. It looks way better than last year's for sure. Last year's was rough.
My retinas were like on fire trying to watch that game last year.
Same. It was awful. We definitely had the worst court last year.
Get ready for
far none.
Oh man,
I don't mind it. I don't mind it that much though. I don't know. Last year was they played it was kind of fun. It was kind of entertaining last year. I don't necessarily hate it, but
Somebody says guaranteed a trip to Vegas. That's the incentive right there.
With the Joe quote.
You like it? You think Cleveland's cool? I never heard anybody say I'm going to Cleveland on vacation.
I never heard anybody say I'm going to Cleveland on vacation. What's so good about Cleveland?
Shout out Joakim. They should have Joakim just like be there on the sidelines every time we play in Cleveland. With a shirt.
Joakim should just be on the sidelines every game. He should just be a coach.
This is true. That would probably help Pat keep that aggression, and maybe help Vooch out where he's not too much of a liability on defense. 70 says, I've seen too many NBA players in Vegas and I end up looking away in case I see something I shouldn't see. Hey, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, man. Bulls for Life says Joakim Noah for defensive coordinator. I'm
down.
Yeah. Like
when did we start getting defensive coordinators in the NBA? Like when did that? I know that's like a new thing, but I start seeing these guys labeled as defensive coordinators. Like when did this happen? I thought they were just assistant coaches.
No, this is the first I'm hearing it for us where like Wes Unseld is kind of like handling the defense. Pretty much, yeah. I just thought it was kind of assistant coaches until recently.
Of course, the Bulls would have Wes Unseld, who coached one of the worst defenses ever in Washington, as their defensive coordinator. That tracks.
You know how we do.
But is it on Wes or was it on that team? Because to be fair, that team was trash.
That's true.
Bulls for Life said Joakim Noah for defense and bringing D Rose for head coach tell Lily to take a hike.
I love Derek, but come on, man, we can't have a soft-spoken head coach.
Yeah.
D Rose's personality.
He could just come to every game, but yeah, I cannot see him coaching.
No.
I would love it, but yeah, I can't see him coaching.
Moore said Phil Jackson had a defensive and offensive assistant. It's probably publicized more nowadays.
I think it's like all this conversation. If there wasn't like terminology of like a two-way player back in the day, like when we were watching basketball back in the 90s, it's like it's a basketball player. What do you mean? Like defense off, you play both sides of the ball. It's defense and offense. What do you mean two-way player? I think.
Yeah, I mean, growing up in the 90s, like we weren't really informed about contract negotiations and minimums, maxes, and all that stuff. Just like, oh, they're playing basketball. So, yeah, I definitely see that. Like French Bulls TV did point out Tibbs was known as the South's defensive guy before coming to us. And I do remember him handling their defense. Kate Riz, what's happening, yo? What's going on, man?
Yo.
What's happening?
So just moved to Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, That should be the goal for everybody. Just populate the city of Chicago. We can apply for it to be its own country. Is there anyone from the late 2000s, early 2010 Bulls who you think would actually make a good coach, retired as a player, of course?
I mean, Luol Deng, maybe, kind of had the personality for it. Depends what kind of coach you're looking for. Because if you want, like in the NFL, Dan Campbell is a super successful coach because he's super intense. Carlos Boozer, he would bring that same intensity. He'd be yelling at guys. He'd be doing his thing. Kind of depends. But Luol Deng's got the basketball IQ. I think he'd be a good coach. I think, doesn't he do something coaching wise with their Olympic team over there?
I think so. I would say Kirk.
Oh, I forgot about Kirk.
I would say late 2000s. Well, that's not late 2000s, but what about like Jamal Crawford? He's so smart.
Yeah, he's on TNT. He always seems to do a good job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I'm sure with Kobe and Io, that would be great for them. But yeah, first NBA Cup game in Cleveland tomorrow. Justin, you got. No, I know you give your 5 keys to a Bulls victory.
Yeah.
What do they have to do to beat Cleveland this time?
I mean, not play THT. That's probably going to be key number 1. keep his ass on the bench. Key number 2, just I feel like key number 2 is contain Donovan Mitchell, which that last game, the first half, he had like 25, I think, and then he was kind of silent the rest of the game. And Jared Allen, he usually goes nuts against Vooch, but they held him in check pretty well. Cleveland's an interesting team because they're the same team as last year, but you see what Kenny Atkins is doing. He's got them playing totally different. So it's they're tough. They're a tough team. They got so much depth and so much shooting, and they just kind of interchange between Allen and Mobley out there. They're a tough matchup for the Bulls.
Yeah, I think one of the keys would be negating Billy's lineups where they just don't make sense. Like Wes Unseld needs to step in, or like no, we can't play that lineup.
I don't get it, man. Like when he said he wants to play a 10-man rotation, I was already like, that doesn't seem like something that's successful in the NBA. And then how many games have we seen where he plays 10 guys in the first half, and then in like the third quarter, he's like, all right, Torrey Craig, 11th man, get out there. Or Javon Carter, let's see what you can do tonight as an 11th man. I don't understand what he's doing.
Bulls for Life says no THT, no Javon, ball-headed Ho Carter. That's the key to winning.
Damn.
Would also be nice if Zoe was back, but it's unlikely. Yeah, Zoe's on the injury report is out for tomorrow. Yeah, trucking with hood chefs rivalry, Bulls versus Cavs. I mean, I don't really know if it's much of a rivalry right now as it used to be, but
nope. It's about as much of a rivalry right now as it was for the Cavs in the early 90s.
Yeah.
We stay getting our ass whooped by them now.
Yeah, there's no MJ on our side and Craig Elo for him to abuse on the Cavs side. So yeah, I don't know. The Bulls were 0-4 last season in the in-season tournament, NBA Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Do we get a win this season?
Oof. So our group is the Cavs, the Celtics, and the Hawks. Do I have that right? I don't even. The groups don't really make that much sense to me.
Maybe against the Hawks.
That is the group.
Either way, I don't know if maybe they get one win, but they're not making it to the actual tournament. They're not going to Vegas.
Maybe the Hawks.
Maybe the Hawks. Yeah, Group C is that's the West. Where's the East Group C? Yeah, it's the Celtics, the Cavs, the Hawks, the Bulls, and the Wizards.
Oh, we'll beat the Wizards.
So Hawks and Wizards, maybe Hawks and Wizards.
Yeah, Hawks and Wizards. It shouldn't be winless like last season.
No. And last season, if I remember right, not only were we winless, but every game we lost by double digits, I'm pretty sure. Every game was like a thorough ass whooping.
Yeah. First Bulls TV says, guess let's beat the Hawks next Friday when I'm there.
Yep.
Shout out to him coming over from the UK for the games at the UC. So enjoy your time in Chicago.
We're actually gonna have a meetup with him on the 20th. Little meetup for the game, the Bucks game, the Bulls Bucks game. We're gonna have to find a bar that can televise the game.
Well, you can get the app now.
Yeah, hopefully they got the CHSN app and want to pay $20 or $30 for it.
Tell the bar to get the app and cast it to TV.
I'm gonna stream it from my phone. You got screen mirroring. That's crazy.
Somebody says, where do you hide Giddey on defense? Off the court?
Off the court. To stand up for Giddey a little bit, he's actually pretty good at the passing lanes. Not a great on-ball defender, but he does seem to get like 1 or 2 steals a game just playing the passing lane. So at least that's something.
Yeah, I mean, it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
But I was still yelling last night, like at fourth quarter at 7-minute mark. I'm like, get Giddey off the court, please. IO. Like,
he doesn't have a very graceful game. Like his game, it's very hard to understand. Like his movements are just it's just not graceful. But
his reckless drives to the rim, they drive me nuts.
Yeah.
When he gets to the rim and he throws up like a hook shot or a floater and he gets blocked at least once or twice a game, or he just misses badly. It drives me nuts. I'm like, dude, you're supposed to be like a facilitator. Like you get 8-9 assists a game. You're leaving 3 or 4 on the table when you do that every time because there's shooters open.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. K. Riz gives his 5 keys. Don't turn the ball over. Minimize Mitchell inside the paint. Play modest a bit more. Limit the 3-point opportunities. And fire Billy Donovan. Unfortunately, I don't think the last one is going to happen before tomorrow's game.
I don't think the first one's going to happen. The first one with the turnovers.
Yeah, true.
They just give the other team the ball.
Yeah. Giddey's like, this pace that we want to pay. I mean, the turnovers come with it. You just want to minimize ones that are our fault. Like, it's kind of your fault, the ones that you are giving away, but French Bulls TV says it's fine if we don't see the game. I want to meet you all. That's the main thing. Bulls for life. The NBA Cup is still a shitty idea in my mind. Who wants to hang banners for meaningless cash grabs awards in the middle of the season? LeBron James does.
LeBron James does, for sure. For sure. I could tell you if the Minnesota Timberwolves would have won it last year, they would have hung that banner because they've never hung any banners. There's teams out there that would hang a play-in or a in-season tournament banner for sure. The Charlotte Hornets, they'd hang that banner for sure. They'd be proud as hell.
This is true. I mean, hey, when you don't have championship banners like the ones that are hanging behind Melissa, you take what you can get.
Are we sure that Jerry Reinsdorf wouldn't hang an in-season tournament banner? Are we sure he wouldn't try to make some sort of night out of it?
He would. He 100% would. Yeah.
He definitely would. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, we're successful. We won a tournament.
Yep. Hold the fans over a little bit longer.
Come sell out the UC and hold your own drinks because there's no cup holders. But yeah, I think after we got this game tomorrow, I mean, we'll see if the Bulls can beat the Cavs this time and give them their first loss. But before we get out of here, special shout out to Jordan shoe designer Melissa.
Thanks.
Congratulations on launching that Jordan 1.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
The Jordan Women Collective. And shout out to the 201 people that are watching live. Bulls
Thank you,
Nation
guys.
is absolutely awesome. See that each and every week. And Bulls TV says that's why I don't understand we don't have a banner for our summer league win and display the trophy next to MJ statue. 70 is saying congrats to Melissa as well as Morris, who is clapping it up for you. As Morris says, like and subscribe on YouTube for Bulls on Tap so you can get the notifications when the show is going live. Justin, you want to plug the Bloody Horns podcast and tell everybody where they can follow you?
Yeah. If you're not following on Twitter, it's at Horns Bloody. Throw me a follow there. I usually follow back. I'm on that new Twitter app that everybody's on. What's it called? Blue Sky or Blue Ski or something like that. Same thing at Horns Bloody. YouTube, Bloody Horns podcast. I do daily short videos on there. Tomorrow it'll be a 5 keys to victory. Today it was what the hell's wrong with Billy Donovan. That's on the non-game days. It seems to be a lot of what the hell is wrong with Billy Donovan videos. But yeah, just kind of do some daily short content. They're like 3 to 5 minutes, so it's not a huge time commitment to watch.
Are you and your wife ever planning on coming through for a game?
Yes. Yep. We're definitely going to come through. We were hoping to come through for the home opener, but that didn't happen. So now we're looking like March-ish, maybe we'd come through, get a game in. But yeah, we're definitely looking forward to it. I haven't been to the United Center. The last time I was there, Derrick Rose was still a Bull. It was his last season. So it's been way too long for me.
Yeah, man, definitely gotta get you back in there. And no, kudos to you, because I don't know how you only spend 3 or 5 minutes on what the hell's wrong with Billy Donovan. It's like that should be like an hour and 15-minute video.
Yeah, I focus on whatever he did the night before that pissed me off. Like today's video was mostly about benching Patrick Williams when he was cooking, because I don't get it. 11 points in 5 minutes and you just sit him down for 10 minutes. I don't get it.
The ever mysterious ways of Billy Donovan. But no. Justin, thank you for coming on. Welcome back anytime. And till the next time we tap in with everybody, go Bulls.
Go Bulls.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Appreciate you.
Man. Appreciate you.